Very good Saturday evening to all our viewers and welcome to the weekend edition of Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight, I am Joel Outskun. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for this evening.
Religious observances held across the country to mark Vesak. President declares open the Sirasa John Keels Vesak zone. Death toll owing to natural disasters rises to 73, 127 unaccounted for. Indian and Japanese naval vessels and aircraft with relief material arrive in the island. Jayanti Kuru Utumpala becomes first Sri Lankan to summit Everest.
Well, of all Poya days, the Vesak full moon Poya day is of utmost significance as it marks three major events in the life of Lord Buddha. It was on a day like this that the birth, enlightenment and parinirvana of Lord Buddha took place.
On Vesak full moon Poya day over 2,600 years ago, the last birth of Bodhisattva took place at Lumbini Salpak. It is said that the newborn child had walked on 7 lotus flowers which emerged suddenly before him. After coming into direct contact with the stark realities of life, Satara Peranimiti, a sick man, an old man, a corpse and a monk, the prince was determined to become an ascetic. One peaceful Vesak night, as he was seated under a bo tree at Bodh Gaya, he attained enlightenment and became Samma Sambuddha. According to Buddhist history, Buddha's third visit to Sri Lanka also took place on a Vesak full moon Poya day. Buddha visited Kalaniya at the invitation of Naga king Maniakita of Kalaniya. He rested on the couch placed between 2 sal trees in the Upuvattana sal grove and attained parinirvana on a Vesak full moon Poya day.
Devotees continue to arrive from far and wide to pay homage to the sacred relics that are placed in a special enclosure at the Sirasa John Keels Vesak Zone. Organized for the 6th time, the Vesak Zone centers around the head office of the MTV MBC networks located at Braybrook Street, Colombo 2. Let's now cross over to News First, Chaturanga Hapurache, who is at the Vesak Zone for an update on what's happening there right now. Chaturanga, over to you.
Thank you, Joel. As you very rightly mentioned, the Sirasa John Keels Vesak zone is happening at the Capital Maharaja headquarters premises for the 6th time this time around. And this evening, the sacred relics of the Sariputta, Moggallana, the Agrashravaka and the Maharahat Theros were brought to this premises. And even as we speak, a number of devotees are flocking into this premises to look in and to venerate these relics that are placed here at the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited headquarters. Now, in addition, for the people, our devotees who come here for the Sirasa Vesak zone, the Sirasa John Keels Vesak zone, there is a pandal, a Vesak Torana that is in place. There is Vesak Bhaktigi that is happening here in the premises. This is a complete Vesak zone that is put up for you. We will be operating this Vesak zone tonight, tomorrow and on Monday night as well. You can join us on this Vesak zone. You can take part, you can witness and venerate the sacred relics that are placed here of the Agrashravaka and the Maharahat Theros as well. Even as we speak, there is a large number of devotees coming in to the premises here at the Capital Maharaja Organization. Now, Joel, one more interesting point is that this is the 6th time that we are organizing this Vesak zone, and the relics here that are placed have been brought from 2 different locations in the island, and these relics will be open from 2 p.m. For the people to pay their respects to the sacred relics that are placed here. That is what is happening here at the Vesak zone at the moment. We will keep you updated throughout the day tomorrow as well, and we will be operating Monday night till Monday night with the Sirasa John Keels Vesak zone. Thank you, Joy, for the chance. Over to you once again.
Well, thank you very much, Chaturanga, for bringing us that comprehensive update. On a related note now, the Sirasa John Kills Vesak Zone, organised by the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited with John Kills Holdings, was declared open this evening. The Sirasa John Kills Vesak Zone was declared open after President Maithripala Sirisena paid homage to the sacred Sarvani relics and the relics of the Mahara Theros. Thereafter, the President paid homage to the sacred Agrashravka relics of the Arhat, Sariputta and Mungalana. The sacred Sarvani relics and the relics of the Mahara Theros were moved to the Sirasa Vesak Zone this morning from the Kalniya Rajamahavihara. The sacred Agrashravka relics of the Arhat, Sariputta and Mungalana, which were brought to the Sirasa Vesak Zone from the Khatragama Kirivihara after travelling for 4 days and set off to the Kaltura Bodhi this morning and made its way to the Vesak Zone. Religious observances took place this evening.
Not
only the Buddhists in Sri Lanka, but the Buddhist leaders from over the world have come here and learned something. There are many who visited the Vesak Zone and preached in the same manner in their respective countries. I believe that the Sirasa Media Network and its chairman, Mr. Raja Mahendran, will be strengthened to conduct many such meritorious deeds.
Sirasa Madhya Jaleta Raja Mahendran Methitumaata Shaktiya labe kiyala.
Mera Vesak Kalape Visheshemma.
This Vesak Zone is of significant importance because of the important relics that have been placed here. The motorcades carrying the relics were always in the forefront and have attributed for the calmness in the minds of the people. During the final leg of this journey, the convoy became like a Sambuddha journey as it provided relief to the people who were affected by the adverse weather. The Sirasa Vesak Zone will be instrumental in bringing calmness and love in the hearts of the people, and it has also become a place where the helpless in the country are being provided with relief. In addition, the Sirasa John Kills Vesak Zone is considered as the most meritorious Vesak Zone this time around.
වන්දනීයම පූජනීයම වෙසක් කලාපය තමයි මේ සිරස ජෝන් කීස් වෙසක් කලාපය.
Heads and senior officers of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited and John Kills, as well as from the commander of the Sri Lankan Navy and the Chief of Defence Staff, were present for the occasion. The Sri Lankan Navy has joined hands with the Vesak Zone and are contributing with Vesak lanterns and a cultural procession.
The Sri Lanka Navy appreciates the opportunity given to be a part of this great endeavour with the assistance and guidance of the Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy. This Vesak will undoubtedly reach deep into the hearts of the people. During this period, the Buddhists in the country engage in religious observances to mark the important stages in the life of Lord Buddha. However, due to the weather, people in large numbers have been affected. We took both these matters into consideration and we joined the Sirasa Media Network to support both these initiatives. As an organisation, we appreciate that. We are aware that hundreds of thousands of people come to the Sirasa Vesak Zone with the aspiration of paying homage to the sacred relics. But by going beyond that, we have organised many dansals, which include a soft drink dansal organised by Elephant House. This year, Sirasa FM has organised a Sunday school program in the Vesak Zone. The Vesak Zone is organised on a yearly basis, and on behalf of the chairman of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, the directors and the staff, I wish to thank every organization and individual that joined hands with us to make this Vesak zone a success.
අධ්‍යක්ෂ මණ්ඩලය වෙනුවෙන් සහ එහි කාර්ය මණ්ඩලය වෙනුවෙන් මා ඉතාමත්ම ගෞරවයෙන් යුක්තව සිහිපත් කරනවා.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා ඉතිවිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විජ්ජාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු.
The statue of Lord Buddha at the Vesak zone was unveiled today. The first phase of the Daham Dhanima competitions of the Sirius FM Sunday School program took place today. The competitions took place in line with the Sirius John Kills Vesak zone.
The Sirius FM Sunday School program was organized with the aim of enhancing the talents of Sunday School students. The competitions of the first phase took place at the Vesak zone today, while the finals will take place on Monday. Sunday School students from across the island were present today for the registration process. In addition, voice tests under the Sirius FM Sunday School program will take on all days at the Sirius John Kills Vesak zone. Singing competitions for children will take place tomorrow at the Sirius John Kills Vesak zone.
The pandal at the Sirius John Kills Vesak zone was declared open this evening and features the Thakka Jatake story. Let's now cross over to footage of the pandal at the Vesak zone. Well, during the season of Vesak, the pandal is one that takes a significant place because it is considered to be the festival of lights. And as you could see, this time around for the sixth time too, in the Sirius Vesak zone, the pandal has been illuminated for your viewing pleasure, which depicts the story of the Thakka Jatake. Well, and moving on to now some weather news. Director General of the Department of Meteorology, Lalit Chandrapala, commented on the weather for the coming days.
The weather condition of the country is now getting back to normal. During the past 12 to 18 hours, the country, especially the Kalani area, had not experienced heavy rainfall. We hope that this condition will continue for the next 24 hours. Rainfall can be expected in the northwest, Sabragamuwa, central and western provinces due to the impact of the cyclones. The message I want to convey is that these will not be heavy showers. Now, speaking of cyclones, what I can say is that the cyclone named Raonu has travelled 1,600 kilometers northeast from Kankasanture. We expect it to move to Bangladesh through Chittagong tonight or in the early hours of tomorrow. After it enters into Bangladesh, the strength of the cyclone will reduce. Then the impact it has towards our country will also reduce.
But the Department of Irrigation today announced that the severe flood situation is reducing following the reduction of water levels of the Kalani River.
Catchment areas and many rivers experienced fair weather during the past 24 hours. The Department of Irrigation noted that due to this, floods in many areas have reduced. Water levels of the Kalani River is also reducing gradually.
Floods in Avisavella, which was caused by the overflow of the Kalani River, remained at 60 feet. This is now reduced to 42 feet with 23 feet going down. In Colombo, our measuring point was Nagalagama. Our measurements recorded at 7.65 feet, which is considered to be high flood scale. This has reduced to 6.8 by now. There may be an increase in the water levels by around 3 in the afternoon due to high tide, but it will go down.
The water levels of floods on the banks of the Kalani River are also reducing. However, our correspondents reported that flood water remain in several areas.
Despite flood waters, there are many who continue to remain in their inundated houses in areas on either side of the Kalani River. The reason is because of the fear of their belongings will be looted and the lack of means to travel to safer ground. The Sri Lanka Army and the Sri Lanka Navy continue to engage in search operations and missions to provide food relief.
Now Sri Lanka Navy deployed for flood relief duties at Kaduvela and various other places under direct supervision of the commander of the Navy. Now for last 5 days, our sailors and most of the officers are working tirelessly to help these people, affected people. And also we did a lot of evacuation and distribution of food and other essential items to needy people. But there are certain restrictions also because we have certain areas are not accessible yet.
ගම්වතුරෙන් යට වූ ප්‍රදේශවල සෞඛ්‍ය අවශ්‍යතා සැපයීම සඳහා විශේෂ සෞඛ්‍ය
areas which were not accessible as the water level has reduced to an extent. The residents of the area request the relevant authorities to provide the required facilities to continue with their daily routines once the weather gets back to normal.
The people managed to move to safer locations when floodwaters hit. Caged animals in these areas had to face the brunt of the rising waters. Such a group of animals were released today in this manner. Areas such as Kaduela, Hangwella and Biagama are still affected by the floods. Kaduela entry point of the Kadawatha-Mathura Expressway continues to be closed.
On a related note, SSP Achitrona, who is in charge of Colombo North, commented on providing security to public property owing to floods.
මේ අවතැන් වූ ජනතාවගේ නිවෙස් වලට ඇතුළු වෙලා ගෙවල් බිඳීම් සොරකම් කිරීම.
Around 15 persons have been arrested on charges of looting and stealing from the houses of affected people. Civil officials have been deployed to arrest such individuals. Law will be implemented very strictly on such persons. If an individual accepts or transports stolen items, police hopes to take strict action against such persons as well. A great hindrance is caused by those people who come to visit these landslide and flood affected areas. So we request from the public to refrain from visiting these affected areas.
මේ ආපදාවන්ට ලක් වූ ප්‍රදේශවලට නැරඹීමට යාමෙන් වළකින ලෙසට.
Another landslide was reported in Aranayaka this afternoon when part of the Ambalankandad gave way. District Secretary of Kegol Abe Vikrama Vanasuriya said that relief teams were dispatched to the area.
This is the third landslide reported in and around the Aranayaka area. The first landslide was experienced in the Siripura area where a large number of people were reported missing. Samasara Hill experienced a landslide yesterday. Today's landslide was reported in the hill which is situated opposite to the Siripura Hill. Operations in search of those who went missing in the landslide in the Siripura Khanda continued today. Major General Sudat Ranasinghe, who is in charge of the search operations, reported that a body and several limbs were recovered during the search. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe visited the Aranayaka area today.
රුපියල් මිලියන 92ක මුදලක් අපේ අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් පමණක්
92 million rupees have been handed over to the secretaries from our ministry alone. Another 55 million rupees has been allocated. A maximum amount of 2.5 million rupees will be given to a fully damaged house based on an estimation.
පරිම දලක් ඒ 탁සේරු වාර්තා ලබා ගැනීමෙන් පසුව ලබා දීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Well, now a presidential task force was established to manage the damages caused by natural disasters that occurred due to the prevalent inclement weather conditions under the directions of President Maithripala Sirisena. Several countries have already come forward to assist Sri Lanka at this time of need. The first pack of relief materials was received from India.
Two naval ships that were sent from Kochi harbour in India consisted of 25 tons of goods. The goods include food items, water, clothes and medicine. Two ships have reached Sri Lanka from the Kochi harbour in India in response to a request made by President Maithripala Sirisena with the involvement of Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi. They are now in action to distribute these flood relief items in the ships to the ones who were affected by the inclement weather. The two ships, INS Sutlej and INS Sunanya, consist of goods weighing 25 tons, which include water bottles, dry rations, medicine and clothes. Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka YK Singha and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Harsha De Silva were present at the occasion where these goods were handed over to Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, India has sent goods weighing 50 tons by air today. A stock of aid from the Japanese government too reached the island yesterday, while Australia has come forward to provide $500,000 to the Sri Lankan government in aid.
The Ministry of Disaster Management has announced that 73 deaths were reported during the past few days due to various weather situations.
127 persons are still missing following the disasters that were reported this week. Disaster Management Centre said that affected people are temporarily housed at 497 welfare centres, while over 93,000 families are still being affected by the weather.
But with the Kalani River overflowing, a mountain in the Colombo district is also giving way.
Around 5,000 residents living around the Mithotamulla garbage dump are victimized by different pandemics that are spreading.
We as well as our children fall sick because of the germs. We had to go into the water to get some stuff. So this happened when I went into the water once. But just imagine going through this for a week.
The sole of the feet is swollen because of the water. We put medicine in it, but there's no improvement in it.
There are flies and rashes form in our children's skin. The legs are wounded after scratching so much.
What can be witnessed in the other areas that were inundated is mud. However, area surrounding the Mithotamulla garbage dump is submerged in black garbage water. This garbage water has been flowing in this area for the past 4 days. The Mithotamulla area, which is famous for its infamous garbage dump, has now a river of garbage water flowing across it. We ask for a solution. All what we see is a colour change in politics. This was never resolved. We need a solution.
The Ministry of Health urges the public to be vigilant about the diseases that could spread with the decrease in floods.
With the reduction of floods, there is a possibility of diseases such as diarrhea, jaundice, typhoid, dengue and leptospirosis spreading through the food and water. In order to prevent these diseases from spreading, it is important to make the public aware of them. The Health Education Bureau notifies that it is vital that the public, those affected by the weather and those not, to drink boiled water at all times possible. Special attention should be taken when drinking water. Likewise, it is important to consume cooked food, since eating raw food could lead to various diseases. It is also important to prevent children from playing in water.
Diarrhea, cholera and skin diseases could spread after the floods. Be mindful about your health. The Sirasa Shakti John Kills Sahana Yatra together with Brandex engaged in the distribution of relief to the persons who were affected by natural disasters throughout the night. Relief materials that was collected over the period of 24 hours were set off to 5 districts that was affected last morning.
The team that visited the Colombo district, which was adversely affected by the floods, reached the Colonnav area around 8 last morning and commenced distributing the aid. The Sahana Yatra reached the people who were affected in the Colonnav, Kotikavatta, Angoda, Kaduwela and Avisawela areas in the Colombo district.
We thank the Sirasa Media Network.
Our houses were inundated and we've been living here since then. We thank Sirasa.
We as Theros appreciate the Sirasa Sahana Yatra. We are left with nothing because of the floods. We thank Sirasa and Shakti for doing this for us. Thank you.
The team that departed to the Gampaha district, where approximately 40,000 individuals are affected, first reached the community centre in the Gampaha Urban Council and commenced the aid distribution operation from there. The aid that was collected with the support of the public was distributed among many in the district even until midnight last night.
We thank you for helping us. We lost everything we had because of this disaster. All of us here in the Mabima village thank you for coming here today to help us at this time of need.
Another destination of Sahanayatra was the Kegaul district, where residents were not only battered by the heavy rains but 2 major landslides as well. The rains also threatened the district economically as it has an agricultural heritage. The Sahanayatra was not only a source of aid to the people in the area but a source of relief as well. The Sahanayatra journeyed to a safety camp that was housing 220 families that had battled it out with nature to save their lives from the overflowing Tabbo reservoir. The Sahanayatra team provided aid to these people who were in shock after facing this unexpected disaster in a bid to strengthen them to face life with confidence. Kilinochi too was not only affected by heavy rains, they were battered by gale winds as well. The Sirasa Shakti John Kills Sahanayatra together with Brandix provided relief to the people who were devastated by the adverse weather. The Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra that comes forward first to help those in need at times of trouble completed its mission of providing relief and aid to these people by dawn today after reaching hundreds of thousands of people who had been severely affected. We were able to give attention to areas that had not received any attention from anyone, and we were able to provide them with relief.
Jayantikur Udumpala became the first Sri Lankan ever to climb the summit of Mount Everest.
Jayanti departed from Camp 4 at around 9 p.m. the previous evening with her fellow Sri Lankan and climbing partner Johan Pires. Johan made it to beyond Camp 4 and Jayanti, along with her Sherpa, continued to the summit. This was a strenuous overnight trek through the death zone of Everest that was lit by the full moon. The death zone is the region about 26,000 feet where climbers face many challenges to survive, including extremely low temperatures, and there is only about a third of the amount of oxygen as there is at sea level. 37-year-old Jayanti, who is a journalist and a leading women's rights activist, and her climbing partner Johan, a renowned hairstylist and fashion designer, started ascending the Everest, and the duo have been training in the Himalayas since early April.
Well, that's a wrap up primetime news for today. Thank you for stopping by. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outskoon. Take care. Good night.